In Congress, July 4th, 1776. The unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. That's God. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires
You hear that? Respect.
that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation.
It means bye-bye.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal,
Listen.
that they are endowed by the Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Are you happy?
That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed.
Consent. That means
That whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it.
Let me just get rid of it.
And to institute new government.
Goodbye.
Laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Are you happy?
Well, first
Really,
of all,
are
this
you?
president's theory of his power is now, I think, so extreme that it's unprecedented. He believes that he has the inherent authority to violate federal law. He has said that, not just in signing statements. In the infamous torture memo that Alberto Gonzales signed, it was stated that he could, in some circumstances, order federal officials to violate federal law. And this is consistent across the board with this president. Frankly, I'm not too sure what he thought he was swearing to when he took the oath of office to uphold the Constitution and our laws. I've never seen a president who's so uncomfortable in his constitutional skin.
In Congress, July 4th, 1776. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes,
Like the Patriot Act?
and accordingly all experience hath shewn that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, that means ruled by one person, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such a government.
Throw it off,
And to provide new guards for their future security.
Are you feeling secure right
Such
now?
has been the patient suffering of these colonies.
Colonies were
And
United
such
States.
is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present kingdom of Great
President
Britain
of the United
is a
States.
history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having indirect object the establishment of a tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused to assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good.
Good for you.
He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance.
Means if we need it right away.
Unless suspended in their operation till his assent should be obtained, and when so suspended, he is utterly neglected to attend to them.
Means he doesn't care
He
about
has
you.
refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people, unless
know.
these people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature.
Yeah, right. Legislature.
A right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only.
Tyrants.
He has caused together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records.
Means it was hard to get
For
to.
the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures.
He didn't want you to
Civil
do it
liberties
at
is
all.
a very precious commodity. When you lose them, it tends to run out of your hand like sand, and it's hard to get it back.
In Congress, July 4th, 1776. has dissolved representative houses repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions on the rights of the people.
Rights? What are those?
He has refused for a long time, after such dissolutions, to cause others to be elected.
You remember the
whereby
Stonewall
the
election?
legislative powers,
Florida?
capable of annihilation, have returned to the people at large for their exercise. The state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers
Terrorism,
of invasion from without,
Terrorism,
and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the laws of naturalization of foreigners.
You know, like Mexicans
refusing
and
to pass
Canadians.
others to encourage their migrations hither from other states, and raising the conditions of new appropriations of lands.
Well, we don't do that no more.
He has obstructed the administration of justice.
Justice? What's that?
By refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers.
That means he makes them judge.
He has made judges dependent on his will alone.
Basically,
for
they
the
got to kiss
tenure of
his
their
ass.
offices and the amount and payment of their salaries.
Kind of like a bribe, I guess.
He has erected a multitude of new offices and sent hither swarms of
bureaucracy.
officers to harass our people and eat out their substance.
Officers like police
He
officers?
has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our
That
legislatures.
means we didn't say it was
He
okay.
is affected to render the military independent and superior to the civil power.
Martial law.
Does this mean that under this law, ultimately the only thing keeping you, I, or the viewer out of Gitmo is the sanity and honesty of the President of the United States?
It does, and it's a huge sea change for our democracy. The framers created a system where we did not have to rely on the good graces or good mood of the president. In fact, Madison said that he created a system essentially to be run by devils, where they could not do harm because we didn't rely on their good motivations. Now we must, and people have no idea how significant this is.